My Lords, I declare all my roles in the Register. My experience extends to caring for several thousand dying patients. The horror stories we've heard today must be followed up. But here, Parliament is being asked to sign a blank cheque for the unscrupulous. As Lord Wilson of Denton warns, be realistic. Never assume the best of human nature when legislating. At first sight, this bill looks seductively simple, but its safeguards are bland statements for an ideal world out of touch with reality, and it seems potentially incompatible with Clause 60 of the Mental Capacity Act. 30 years ago, 3 senior doctors and I predicted a distressed man desperate for euthanasia had 3 months to live. But today, he's glad of the years of joys and sadness. Prognosis, my lords, is a guess. The criteria drawn from Oregon are very elastic, and case law will expand them rapidly, as in Canada, as some today have already indicated. Very few palliative medicine doctors would be prepared to be involved in any part of gatekeeping on lethal drugs. In Canada, they're leaving the specialty. In Oregon, most doctors won't touch it. So 90% of people are stewarded by campaign groups to a willing prescriber of lethal drugs who know nothing about them beyond their case notes. No basis for sound decision-making. Last year, one such doctor wrote 31 lethal prescriptions. Nothing in this bill plugs deficits in care. Other countries show that palliative care does not flourish, nor do violent non-assisted suicide rates fall. They don't when such legislation is in place. Public support, when explored, reveals 42% of people think it allows people to stop treatment and 10% that it's hospice care. And 2/3 of hospice doctors report people think that hospices practice euthanasia and are already getting frightened. This bill won't solve suffering nor improve care. This bill suggests to terminally ill people that ending your life is something you should consider. Even the strongest are vulnerable to influence when fearful or their lives shattered by disease. 53% dying by lethal drugs in Oregon were concerned at being a burden. Pain was way down the list. 2/3 of Oregon hospices do not take part in assisting suicide. In Belgium, 2/3 of all dying do not access specialist palliative care. And in Canada, we've already heard, hospice funding has been withdrawn for hospices that refuse to participate. Belgium and the Netherlands had no growth in palliative care services from 2012. Now 1 in 19 of all deaths are assisted in parts of the Netherlands. In Belgium, 1 in 60 of deaths are non-voluntary euthanasia. Numbers escalate everywhere, up 281% in Oregon in the last 10 years, with reports relying on a tick box after the event. It's not always a quick and easy death. Those 8 who reawakened did not repeat the experience. Last year, over half took more than 3/4 of an hour to die, some over 4 days. 6% had complications, higher than the 4% of difficult symptoms referred to in this debate. Doctors know they can't make many of the life or death judgments this bill asks. This is not a job for doctors, already on their knees after the pandemic, in a country where palliative care provision to provide dignity in dying remains largely outside the NHS, reliant on voluntary donations, leaving 320 people daily not getting the care they deserve. Modern symptom control is moving fast. You do not have to kill the patient to kill the pain. No law stops pain control, but ignorance does. This bill is not